And Mike, you know, you talked about how they're going to show that, in fact, he gave them the drugs that ended up killing them, or he drugged them at all. Well, I want to talk about some of the evidence the state is going to be allowed to bring in, Mike. They're bringing in 6 other victims that alleging, now he's not been convicted of these crimes, they're working their way through the system where he allegedly drugged and raped these women. They're coming forward, they're going to tell their story in this trial before we even get to the facts of this case. That's pretty devastating and prejudicial stuff. I would imagine when you do the balancing test, I guess they thought it was very probative.
I can't believe that they allowed that in. To be honest with you, I don't think it should have been in, because at the end of the day, one has nothing to do with the other, even if you take as an assumption of fact that he drugged 20 other people, right? Obviously, it doesn't look good where there's smoke, there's fire. But even if you take as an assumption of fact he drugged 20 other people, what if he didn't drug these girls, right? If there's going to be a conviction, as a citizen, I would want that conviction to be realistic. At the end of the day, these girls were not exactly blameless in their own health, because they were also taking ketamine and cocaine before they even met this villain. The prosecution is going to paint this person as a villain. Honestly, with what you just said, Michael, I don't think it's going to be hard. I think the jury is going to come into this trial with an open mind. And I think when this stuff is introduced, he will be painted as a villain. I don't think the judge should have allowed it. I honestly don't think it's relevant to this particular crime. The judge obviously disagreed with me. They looked at the evidence more closely. But at the end of the day, if you're his defense attorney, it's going to be extremely difficult to cleanse the juror's mind from that. Because I already think he's guilty. If I see that and he did this to 6 other people, then what are we even talking about? So
that's the problem.
That's what I think.
And I also think the defense is really going to go after the victims and try to do it in a way that doesn't offend the jury, but at least paints them in a bad light, because they were doing a lot of different drugs. I just wanted to mention a reminder for our viewers that California is a state in which the court has the discretion to determine whether or not cameras are allowed, and we are only allowed to bring the openings and closing in this particular case.
Yeah, we've been in this situation before with California. All right, Mike, stand by.